came out, there's not a lot of resources and information out there. What this means to you is that if you have your eligibility letter in hand or are planning to get your eligibility letter very soon, it is imperative that you sign up to take the test immediately, because as you can imagine, there's probably people all around the country and the world trying to get in on the old edition of the test, in the old edition of the PMBOK. So you really want to make sure that the minute you become eligible, sign up for the test. Put, June 27th or June 1st, whatever. It can be a long-range date, but you definitely want to get your foot in the door and guarantee your spot to take the test prior to June 30th. After June 30th, the test will be given under the 4th edition PMBOK. However, unlike many years in the past, they've not changed the eligible grade, which is very nice. 4 years ago, they did change the grade, and you actually had to achieve a higher score than previous years, and they are not doing that this year. Okay. The PMBOK 4th edition from the 3rd edition, not a humongous rewrite. There are some differences. They've taken out a few process areas. They've added a few, but it's not humongous. It's not like the 3rd edition. The 2nd edition, 3rd edition rewrite was pretty substantial. This one is not that big a deal. Okay, so as we go to the next slide, the test itself is 200 questions. You have 4 hours to take the exam, which is 1 minute and 20 seconds per question. The exam itself, as I said, is 200 questions, randomly mixed in. So the first question is not going to be one out of the initiating process, out of project integration management. I wish it would work like that, but it is a randomly mixed bag of questions. And within the test itself, there are 25 questions that are statistical gathering questions, and you will not be graded on. However, you will have no idea which are the statistical ones and which are the true graded questions, so take every question as if it counts. But your grade itself is based on 175 questions, for which you must get 106 correct, or approximately a 60%. There are 19 questions that come out of the initiating process, 40 questions that come out of planning, 47 that come out of executing, 37 that come out of controlling, and 16 that come out of closing. In addition, there are 16 questions around professional responsibility, which is nowhere in the PMBOK. So where do you go for that? So again, 200 questions, 4 hours, 1 minute, 20 seconds per question, of which only 175 are used to grade you on, and you have to have a 60%. According to PMI, you are allowed to retake the exam up to 3 times. However, IBM typically may only pay for you to retake it once, and you need to check with your business unit in the event that you don't pass on the first try. The cost to retake the exam is another $275. So if we go to the next slide, here's a realistic plan to study for the exam. I 100% suggest that you read the PMBOK cover to cover, close it and put it away. The second thing I would recommend to you is to go out on the PMCOE website and download the IBM study notes that have been prepared by fellow IBMers. They are by far the most useful tool that you'll find out there, and it's free. All you have to do is go out to the PMCOE website and follow the link that's on slide 11. Another recommendation that I have for a lot of people is to join a study group, and you can find a study group in your business unit at the link also on slide 11. I also do have a study group starting up next week. If you are interested in participating in the study group that I run, you do have to have your eligibility letter from PMI in hand, or at least prove that you can meet the requirements and have it in hand very shortly. We meet once a week for 1 hour during normal work hours for 13 weeks. So if you start next week, you'll actually be ready to take the test by the beginning of May, well within the June deadline. And it is definitely a helpful way for you to achieve your goal. You have someone motivating you, giving you information that you wouldn't normally find elsewhere. So I definitely recommend, if you have your eligibility letter and you're interested in taking the study group with me, to send me a note after this call. If you're not ready necessarily now, you can certainly look at the link for your business unit. Also, I do have a second one starting in September. So if you're not ready for this one, you can always contact me later in September. There's also another couple areas that you can go out for the Learning at IBM site. There's a free sample question database, if you will, out on Learning at IBM, and the link there is on slide 12. You do have to download a JavaScript and some software to get to this particular course, but it is worth it. It is free, and anything that you can use that's free to help you study is definitely something you want to explore. There's also an exceptional course out there on Learning at IBM, D2504. It's offered by a third party called ESI Learning, and it's an excellent class. It is a little pricey at $700, but still, if you are trying to fast track yourself and study and take the test and really be prepared to take the test by, let's say, next month, this is an excellent avenue in which you could do so. There's also a course offered within Learning at IBM, PM35G, and this is an intensive 4-day boot camp, if you will. There's lots of prerequisites to even sign up to take this course, but basically you're locked in a room for 4 days, and on the 5th day you go and take the test. And there are different course availability throughout the United States and worldwide that you can look at PM35G at learningatibm.com. I also recommend highly, if you can't take this particular course here, the D2504, that you can actually go and purchase the books that you would get as part of this class. And the books are excellent too. There's a sample test at the end of the book that has the simulation of 200 questions. In addition, there's 40 sample questions at the end of each knowledge area, including professional responsibility. So I highly recommend it. It's the best $40 you'll ever spend in your life to pass the test. I highly recommend purchasing the book. If you don't take the course D2504, if you do take that course, there's no need to buy the book. You'll get it as part of your fee. And then, of course, you can always go out to PMI.org and find out some additional information as well. So once you've gotten all this information, then what should you do? Well, we talked a little bit about the process areas and the process groups and the knowledge areas. And we know that 19 questions come specifically out of the initiating group. And the only 2 knowledge areas that pertain to this are right in the first chapter, integration management. So 4.1 and 4.2 are the only place that 19 questions will come from. So I highly recommend you intensely study these 2 areas. Similarly, with closing, we know that there are 16 questions just in the closing process, and of which only 2 knowledge areas fulfill this. So again, you want to very intensely study 4.7, which is close a project, and 12.6, which is contract closure, in order to help you get these 16 questions correct. So right off the top, you know 35 questions are going to come from 4 specific areas in the PMBOK, and you can intensely study for those. We also know that there are between 5 and 7 questions, and again, this varies by test. Some people on a given day get a lot of math questions, and some people get 2, and you're horribly disappointed because you've memorized all these formulas for nothing, but you never know. And so there is a specific list of formulas that you do need to study and prepare for, and they are the earned value calculations, and I've listed all the formulas here. In addition, it is also very important that you've memorized the PERT formula and also the communication formula. And you'll learn more about those as you go through, but basically all this information is contained here in the formula table. And that continues on slide 16. So you've studied intently, you've worked really hard.